Well, we have a wonderful program planned for you today. We're so happy that you joined us, and I appreciate all of the work of everyone who helps put all of this together. It does take a team, and we're very grateful. My name is Natalie Shafir, and I'm the communications consultant, proudly working with Pendergast District. And we've got a lot of excellent programming for you today. And I know it's raining, it was raining outside, and so you probably couldn't leave the house, but you're going to get to go on a field trip. And everybody loves field trips. So I think you're going to have a fabulous time with us today, and you're going to get to visit one of our schools and programs. And we'll see if you're smarter than a first grader, because we've got some amazing kids with us today, fabulous teachers, great administrators, and a wonderful program planned. So like to have Dr. DeBlue, our illustrious superintendent, give you a welcome. Dr. DeBlue.
Yes, good morning, everybody. It's so good to see you. I can't wait for this field trip. At least I'll feel like I'm leaving the house and seeing something out there. But it's great to see all of you. A lot of you we haven't seen in a while, so welcome. Thank you for joining us again. I'm happy to be here. Well, before we get started, you know, we have an amazing board, and I am so excited. Let's see who we have here today. Jet White is our new president. He's teaching, so he won't be with us, but he sends his love. But we do have our new vice president, Senator Quesada. How are you? Welcome.
Hey, Dr. DeBlue, it's great to be here. I'm excited to hear this presentation from Via de Paz.
Thank you. Welcome. It's good to have you. And we also have Susan Sarin. Welcome, Susan.
Good morning, everyone. It is so great to see everyone. I'm scrolling up and down to see faces. I'm so starved to see, you know, everybody's faces. While we can't do it in person, Zoom is the next best thing. And I've got to tell you, I appreciate everyone, our parents, our students, and especially our staff for day in, day out, keeping this online learning going. And in the past couple of weeks, I've gone on Zoom to some of the award ceremonies and from Desert Mirage and Westwind. And I've got to tell you, the students are so enthusiastic. They really are learning, and they are so proud of their accomplishments. So thank you, everyone, for keeping this going. If other schools have award ceremonies, please invite the board to them. Thanks, and I'm going to enjoy the presentation today. I heard it's really good.
Thank you, Susan. We appreciate it. It's hard not to say Madam President. I have to get used to that. All right, let's see. We also have Hilda Ortega Rosales. How are you, Hilda? Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you, Lily. I'm so excited to be here. I've always enjoyed these lunch and learns because it provides us an opportunity to continue to bond with our community, our students, our staff, our partners in the community. It's important for us to continue to be connected despite this pandemic. And I'm very, very jazzed over the fact that vaccines are out. I'm hoping that all our educators have taken advantage of it so that we can end this the Zoom events. I want to do real person, face to face. So excited about that. I want to, in particular, thank our students for being here. It's important to have them here. It's exciting. And enjoy your lunch. It looks really yummy. Thank you. And I'm excited about the presentation with Via de Paz. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Hilda. And we also have Jose Arenas, who's, I didn't see him in here. Is Jose with us? No, I believe he's working. So, but again, this is our amazing board who support us. So thank you for joining us, and thank you for supporting our board. And let's see, what do we have next, Netta?
Well, Dr. DeBlue, next we're going to talk a little bit about Zoom tips. I know that you're pros by now, but a couple of the things that we wanted to bring up to you is that we are recording this. So if you missed part of it, you want to share it, we'll be sending out that link and we'll be posting it on social media. So be sure that you're following us on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook, and of course our wonderful website. So please interact with us. Use the chat. We have students here today that would love to talk with you and hear from you. So please be part of that. We sure wish we could be in person, but in the meantime, this will be the next best thing. So we're going to keep you muted and ask that you mute yourself unless you're speaking. And that way we don't hear all the background noise of your dogs barking or your cats meowing or all the great things that go on in your homes. So we want to feel like we're close. And when we use the chat, then we can see each other and hear our comments and really feel connected. So we want you all to pretend like we're all in person and that we're all together, because we feel that way, and it's really important for all of us to be that, because that's why we do these, because we know that it's important and the topics are great, and you're going to learn a lot today, and we're so glad that you're with us. So, all right, I know what you've been waiting for. You didn't come here to hear us. You came here to hear about the superstars of the Pendergast School District from Villa de Paz Computer Academy. All right, next slide. So the Dust Devils are resilient and innovative. And we have two outstanding administrators from Villa de Paz, Mr. Abraham Gonzalez, the principal, and Ms. Renee Gaydon, the assistant principal. They have worked so hard on this presentation along with our two teachers, Mr. Neville and Ms. Anderson, along with our students. And they want you to know all about computer education. What's the future look like? How are our kids going to be ready for their futures? When we talk about our profiles of a graduate, we say, what do we want our kids to be like? We want them to be innovative. We want them to be collaborative. We want them to be responsible. We have so many things that we wish for our students. And by seeing here today, I'm just going to pull my profile of a graduate, good communicators and career success. Well, you can see our first graders are really on that track, as well as all the grade levels at Villa de Paz. So I'm going to introduce to you next. You're going to see a collage of the great things going on at the schools. Look at how engaged those students are. You know, when students are engaged in their learning, they're taking responsibility for it. They want to learn. They're excited about learning. They are facing their future with great hope and great resilience. And so I'd like to introduce to you the outstanding award-winning principal of Villa de Paz School, Abraham Gonzalez.
Thank you, Nata. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. So today we're going to talk about our Computer Science STEAM Academy, and I just want you to know a little bit of history of our Computer Science STEAM Academy. It actually started 5 years ago with a computer science club, and it has really developed into now, fully developed into a kinder through 8th grade academy. Next. Oh, I'm sorry. You're fine. You're fine there. Can you go back? I apologize. So we asked ourselves, why computer science, right? And we all know that computer science is a growing industry that allows students to choose different career paths. Next slide. And also because it encompasses, this is national data, and we know that computer science encompasses 67% of all new STEAM-related jobs. But as we know, only 11% of STEAM bachelor's degrees are being earned in computer science. So I'm going to ask you a question. How much do you, oops, I'm sorry. Go back. I'm going to ask you a question I think you guys already saw, but what do you think the average salary of a computer science engineer is here in Arizona? If you want to put it in the chat. Thank you, Matt. I think Matt cheated on the other slide, but next slide. Yeah, it's $87,000, and that's pretty substantial. And we know that right now, currently in Arizona, there's 13,000 jobs in computing, but really we don't see the qualified applicants. Only of those, about 1,000 computer science bachelor's degrees have been earned in 2018. So we see that we don't see those qualified applicants. So we know that the job market is there. And for us at Villa de Paz, it's important that we give the opportunity for our students to tap into that job market. So after hearing that, how many of you would want your child's school to teach computer science? Right, I know I do. Next slide. So we know that 90% of nationwide data, 90% of parents want their child to study computer science, but the opportunity is not there currently. Only 45% of high schools in the nation actually teach computer science. Next slide. So we're starting to, you know, when we started our Computer Science Academy, we really talked about that equitable participation in computer science education. And we see that the 45% was in high school, but we see a much lower percentage of students participating in computer science in elementary school. And for Villa de Paz, it was important for us to give our students the access and opportunity to participate in an engaging computer science curriculum. So 2 years ago, we engaged our school in strategic planning, and we created our vision and mission that kind of aligns to what we just talked about within the job market. And our vision is to empower all students for the choices and challenges of the 21st century. And our mission is really to develop those global leaders through integrated technology and innovative problem solving. I would like now to introduce our marvelous assistant principal that's going to talk to you about our goals and expectations of the program. Ms. Gaydon.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gonzalez. Thank you, everyone. When we think about the profile of a graduate, some of the important goals are technology literacy and digital citizenship. Next slide, please. One of our program expectations are that students and staff demonstrate an understanding of computer science. Next. Program opportunities include the development of critical thinking skills and solving real-world problems. I'd like to ask you a question. What grade do you think is appropriate for students to begin learning computer science? If you want to throw that in the chat, that's fine. I see a lot of kindergarten, and I also see some pre-K. Well, that is awesome because we do start our curriculum in kindergarten, but we have seen some glimpses of it in pre-K. On the slide here, this is the VDP curriculum progression. At the top are the concepts and sub-concepts that students learn. In kindergarten, students are introduced to coding and logic. And by the time they reach middle school, students are engaged in immersive media and smart solutions. Next slide. Thank you. Mr. Gonzalez?
Thank you, Ms. Gaydon. With that said, our Computer Science Academy would not be possible with our partnerships. And, you know, we hope to create more partnerships to really help us with our mission and vision in the upcoming years. With that said, I want to introduce two magnificent teachers, Ms. Anderson in first grade and Mr. Neville in 8th grade, and both will present you a glimpse, just a glimpse of computer science in action. Ms. Anderson.
Good morning. Welcome to my first grade computer science classroom. In first grade, our computer science learning begins with a program called Codable. In Codable, we learn some key vocabulary. One of the first words that my students learn is algorithms, which they could tell you are step-by-step instructions. They learn the importance of sequence. They learn about conditions or exceptions to the rule. They learn about loops, repeated actions, and they learn to find bugs and debug the bugs they find in their code. So they're looking for mistakes or problems, and they are fixing them. In Codable, students are building algorithms using arrows as their coding language. At this point, they are not using one-to-one code. They are just having These little fuzz friends in the maze that you see, they have to get to the end and they have to collect all 3 stars. So if they put in a right arrow, their little fuzz friend will go right until it hits up against a wall and needs to go a different direction, unless they put in a colored box and they code it to tell that fuzz friend to go a different direction, one of our conditions. And they can do that. Their ultimate creation for Codable is to create a maze that uses the conditions, loops, and the arrow code that they've been learning. And then they also have to write that code as well as design the maze. Next slide, please. So here are some of my amazing student examples of mazes that they built. And in a moment, we will have some video of them telling you all about these mazes that they made. So let's hear from the students.
This is the maze I made. I made the maze with blue boxes and some purple and yellow, green, and pink squares. And then I added 3 stars. And then I found the starting line and the finish line. The conditions are the yellow and purple and pink and green squares. After I created my maze, I created my solution. The solution is the algorithm. How you finish the maze is you find the starting line and the finish line, and then create the boxes and do whatever maze you want, and then put a background, and then do your coding on the bottom, and then done. The coding is the arrows. First you go right, and then when you see the purple thing, you go down and then right, and then you go 3 times, and then you go up and then right. Then you're at the finish line. I had 10 times fun. I like Codable because it is fun. Because I can make those fuzzies and stuff. Because they challenge me. I am Andrew and I am in 1st grade. I did that. You can probably see the arrows. I was looking where I was going first. Probably kind of easier because I built it. It was actually kind of hard. But how I got to the other side, I was using my brain and looking where the obstacles are.
That's good.
Then I was looking at the arrows.
Yeah.
Right, I went to right, left, bottom,
Then
right, up, then to the right, and then up, and to the right, and then to down, and then to the right. And then I had to add one thing. It says one time because when I did that, it was up and left. That's how I did it.
Good job.
My name is Sophia Molina. I'm in 1st grade. I learned about algorithms using block codes I made my maze by counting blocks in different directions. I made 3 loops. I like coding because you can make games. It is so much fun.
All right, thank you. You guys are amazing, my lovely students. So this quarter and going into third quarter, they are continuing to learn about algorithms and conditions and loops. Now we are using code.org, and they are learning to use block code, which has commands and directions in it to continue solving mazes, but they're also learning about persistence and excuse me, their ultimate goal at the end of code.org is to create an animated game. And I am so excited to see what my amazing students will create at the end of third quarter. Thank you for joining my classroom.
I was scared. I didn't know what to say.
Hello. Hello. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Anderson. Can we just give one more clap to Ms. Anderson and all the awesome first graders? Right, they're awesome. So now you're going to see the progression of where our students start in computer science and kinder and first, and then where they get to by the time they go on to high school. With that said, I want to introduce our 7th and 8th grade computer science teacher, Mr. Don Neville.
Hi, it's my pleasure to be here. As Mr. Gonzalez introduced me, I'm Don Neville. I'm a computer science teacher, and it's in some respects my fault because I was the one with the computer science club 5 years ago. But this year, things are continuing to improve, and every year something new comes along. And this year we are fortunate to partner with Arizona State University's Entrepreneur and Innovation Institute. And we're delivering Verizon's Innovative Learning's immersive media curriculum. And that's quite a mouthful to say all that. But basically, the students get to use 3D and virtual reality. The curriculum is rooted in engaging learning experiences that foster innovation, social entrepreneurship in technology, and also design thinking. Which it really is a major focus, especially in projects. The students are learning to master technology and apply it to solve real-world challenges. So the projects they create focus on multimedia creation, presenting both in virtual and augmented reality. And so far, what they've had to create are projects from narrative stories that allow the user to choose how the story progresses using a different branch. So whether they want to see one of the characters negotiate a deal in a mythical space market to purchase a spaceship, or whether or not they want to go see how they're going to stock the spaceship. That's the sort of choices they had to make, and they had to program it into a story. The other thing they've had to do is create 3D tours that focus upon one of the 3 pillars of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Those are societal, education, and environmental. At this point, I think it's best, rather than me just talk about it, is that if we watch a video of just 2 of my fantastic students, Marlon and Vanessa, showcasing some of their work and their experiences.
My name is Vanessa. My homeroom teacher is Mr. Neville, and I've been at Villa de Paz for 9 years now. I have created many assignments this year so far. Some of the assignments I created was an Inco Writer story project where I created various home planets for our main character. We were introduced to design thinking, and from there, we had to create many Thingling projects. We used Thingling to create interactive virtual reality tours of places we would like to visit. We also created a show and tell activity and my personal favorite, my sustainability project, which is a VR awareness campaign. A VR awareness campaign is an interactive educational advertisement for a good cause. It is a way to show people real-world problems and solutions with 360 images and videos. Awareness campaigns can be emotional, entertaining, and may even take a form of a story. I came up with my project by first choosing which subject I would like to do. I chose ocean plastic because it was very interesting. I did some research into ocean plastic and found out some really interesting information, such as but about 14 billion of plastic pieces are dumped into the ocean each year. If it wasn't for this project, I wouldn't have learned these important facts. Computer science has helped me express my own ideas into my work. I'm able to create these projects that I never thought I was able to do. As you can see here, this is my sustainability project. These tags can take you from place to place. These are one of the 360 images on my project. These tags can take you from place to place so you can go back or go forward to the new scene. These videos I found on YouTube and posted them on here. We received our photos from the web, but we had to make sure they were Creative Commons licensed because if they weren't, we could get copyrighted. You can move around as like if you're in the ocean. Here's some more information of my project.
Hi, my name is Marlena and I am in 8th grade. I have been attending Little Paul's Elementary School for about 3 years now. My homeroom teacher is Miss Petra. So one of the things that I look forward every day on doing and being a part of is computer science, which allows me to be part of this future and create new things. So this is actually one of the projects that I'm most proud of on creating is sustainable fishing. So here to our left, I have an example of what is being sustainable and falls under the category of fishing. So rod and reel and wild caught is kind of with the idea that contributes to sustainability. And on the other hand, what is not sustainable is fishing farms and fishes being kept in fishing farms, what they call it. It's kind of equivalent to chickens or other animals being in cages and nothing organic, healthy, nor sustainable comes out of that, which this project has actually taught me to look closer and read further into the package labels, food labels. So, for example, I would look for wild caught or free range, and I feel like that is very important to know where your food is coming from and how was it grown, where was it grown, under what circumstances and environment was it while it was being grown, which I feel like is very important to know when buying a certain food item. So why I feel like computer science would fit in or pair well with another subject would be math, because I feel like we can code math games and practice it. For example, like press spacebar to new problem or to enter your answer. I feel like would be very interactive with the kids and teachers, and especially now that we're not in-person learning, would be very important to have a little bit more interactive ways to really have that feeling or the same experience as being in person, which I feel like is very important. So what I really like about computer science is that it allows me to really be part of this future, create new things, and really what is most amazing is seeing, like for example, coding my sprites, walking, running, talking is really fun and amazing to me.
All right. I must know, I am blessed to have such fantastic students, and these two ladies are some of the best, but there are a lot of students there that have been part of the computer science for the last 4 years, and they are producing some fantastic products. As we move forward into this semester, we're going to be looking more at traditional computer science, and we see here you've got a picture of Scratch, the cat. And if you don't know, Scratch is a programming platform, and it's block-based, and it developed out of Massachusetts Institute of Technology's Media Lab. The course is intended to teach computational thinking concepts and practices. And some of the concepts are actually, you can see them written down in the key vocabulary. But this Scratch is so flexible that it's even used by Harvard in their beginning computer science course for their freshmen. It's called CS50. So it is aimed really from like third graders all the way up through freshmen in university. Another thing is students are enormous consumers of digital media. And the reason why we're using Scratch is it helps them develop into content creators. So instead of just being consumers, they become the creators. Projects that we have been working on and we will be developing as the semester moves on include animation, music, art, games, and we'll incorporate different hardware such as robotics and sensors. The skills and practices they learn when coding can be used in any class or content area. And I think I've mentioned this before, one of the great things I think that computer science provides students is the ability to fail in a safe environment. Failing in computer science is something we all do when code doesn't work, but students don't seem to have any hesitation in going back in there and just trying something different. And it's kind of that leveraging that skill they do when you see them play games. But if we can teach it into a content area, and that's the thing where computer science really can shine, where you can take the skill of going through the iteration process and expanding into their math and their English language art skills. And that really is the presentation for me. I think at this point we are in the questions.
Thank you, Mr. Neville. Thank you, Vanessa and Marlene. At this time, I did want to. I wanted you to hear from our amazing students, right? Because they're really what really drives us to create these opportunities for them. So with that said, I'm going to ask some questions of our students, and if they can unmute themselves and answer those questions, we would appreciate it. So we'll start with Marlene first, and then Vanessa. And just a simple, I want you to tell our Lunch and Learn, our community members today, what you like most about computer science.
What I like most about computer science is the ability to create new things and use my imagination and like put it into like games and stuff and develop deeper like thinking skills.
Thank you, Marlene. Vanessa?
What I like most about computer science is that it allows you to express yourself into your work. There's never a right or wrong answer. You're able to solve problems and learn new things. We're able to create many amazing projects like virtual reality tours.
Thank you guys. And you know the major point, you know, in bringing computer science is really teaching that resiliency and really looking at what we call debugging, going back into code, making mistakes, but then, you know, developing that resiliency where students can actually go back into their learning and fix the problem, right? Really creating that mindset of computational thinking is what's really important for us as our students progress into high school and college. With that said, I also want our first graders to join us. I know we have Andrew and Leona. So Andrew, what do you like the most about being in your computer science class?
It is a fast way of talking to others.
So that collaboration, awesome, Andrew. What about Leona? What do you like the best about coding and being in the Computer Science Academy?
I'm so sorry to be right back to the restroom.
Oh, okay, so we'll catch her. We'll catch her. But with that said, I did want to open up our chat. If you had any questions for our teachers, for us in regards to our Computer Science Academy.
Abraham, while we're waiting, you had shared with us when we were preparing for this about iCode and about how some of the different areas are charging a lot of money to teach students this. So would you talk a little bit about that, about what we're offering to students in Villa de Paz and in Pendergast district, and how, what if I have a student and I don't live in the district, but I really am impressed with this, and I really want to know more about it.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Netta. I do want to let you know that an iCode Academy opened up right next to my house, and I wanted to find out a little bit more about it. And really, it's like a supplemental program where students go in and learn how to code, but they do charge around about $300 to $150, depending on what track, to teach coding to students, and that's only a month. And the important for us was to bring that those opportunities and that access to computer science free to every single kid at Villa de Paz. And we always kind of have this new hashtag, computer science for all, and you'll see it says CS for all, and that's truly our mission. So we're looking forward to expanding our program, and in next year, where every single one of our kinder through 8th grade teachers is teaching computer science in as part of their curriculum. And we are, like I said, again, it goes back to opportunity and access, and we don't want anyone to be paying $300 or $500 to learn coding. They can come to Villa de Paz, where we have open enrollment.
Thank you. We love that little commercial announcement. So that's really important to know that we have these opportunities for all students. And I love the way Abraham really emphasized all students. We don't just pick and choose and say, well, we're going to just do a few students here and there. And you can see how excited our kids are about learning and about computer science. And do we have anyone that would like to ask our students any questions? Let me check.
And Netta, just real quick, I did want to also mention that it's our 8th grade teachers do such a marvelous job at really creating those partnerships, and our counselors, Mr. Akina is here too, and making those partnerships with MIT, Maricopa Institute of Technology, also those partnerships with WestMech and Westview and University High, and really giving students choice into continuing their learning, which is super important to us. And I do want to mention Vanessa Valdez, one of the young ladies that you just heard from. She did get accepted at University High, which is one of the top high schools in the state. So congratulations to her too. But again, I go back to the access and opportunity for all students in our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gonzalez, I'm looking at some of the questions from the chat, and one of them is, do the feeder high schools teach computer science? Do you happen to know that? We go through 8th grade, but are you aware of what happens as they go on?
Yeah, and that was important for us to, as we are currently in our logic, we're in our computer science academy, we're developing our logic model. It was important for us to research that. And currently at Westview, they do offer one computer science course. So it was important for us, like I said, to make those partnerships with WestMech, that which they do offer computer science certificates, and then also University High and AAEC and MIT that really focused a lot on computer science, and making sure that students knew that they had those opportunities to further their college career.
Thank you. And we have from a board member, teachers and administrators, what would you consider to be the most important support you would like board members to provide?
Well, you know what, currently we are blessed, and I will thank our board and our superintendent and our also ed services, and really supporting us and finding partnerships. And unfortunately, I would love to talk to you about some of those partnerships, but some of those partnerships haven't developed yet as well too. But just allowing us to write for those grants and that support is truly really helpful in the sustainability of our academy.
Great. And this is for the teachers. They know that students get frustrated because they're doing really hard, rigorous work here. How do you handle frustration in students as they're learning totally new concepts? So Mrs. Anderson and then Mr. Neville. So talk a little bit about that, how you handle that with our students.
One of the things that code.org really emphasizes is persistence. So we don't just talk about what persistence means, we talk about when we might need persistence and what does it look like and how can we help ourselves to calm down. So we talk about such simple things as taking deep breaths, counting to 10, just learning those coping strategies that really anyone would need and applying them in computer science.
That's great. All right, we can all use those coping strategies. Vicki Saylor put in the chat, code.org has the common sense curriculum for free on there, which helps students. So Mr. Neville, how do you handle when students are frustrated? What are some of your strategies that you use?
Not a problem. I go back to some of the things that I was taught in code.org as well. And they have what's called FAIL, and they put the mnemonic as first attempt at learning. So to fail is expected, and it's how we learn. It's no longer fail is a negative, fail is the positive. Because we know that students learn very little from getting it right first time. We would love all our students to get everything right first time. That would make our life so much easier. But then they didn't learn it from me. But if they learn the fail, that it's that first attempt, and again, it goes to that persistence, that they go back, and that connects so much to that the debugging part of the programming that we do in coding. And students they don't fear it as much. So it's something they fear less in computer science than they do in, say, algebra. The funny thing is, computer science coding is pretty much algebra. Okay, we just got to connect them.
Thank you. Mrs. Salcido, this question is for you and Andrew. Have you seen a difference in Andrew since you started this program? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I was just gonna write it in the chat, but I think this is easier than having to type word for word. I've noticed that he's become more interested in computer science in general with his work, with even just wanting to chat with his grandparents or texting them. And he's also become more interested in his art, like with drawing. Before he's been more kind of shy with that because his brother is very good at it. So now I see more interest in it, and he's doing so much better with that.
Great, thank you. Well, he's very articulate, and we can see him being a computer programmer someday, or anything he chooses to be. So thank you for sharing. Here's another question. What's the most challenging thing about this program, and what have you learned through the process of this? Not specifically, but let's see. How about Marlene and Vanessa? What's the most challenging thing for you, and what have you learned through the process? Marlene, do you want to go ahead, and then we'll have Vanessa.
So the most challenging thing is, like, for me would be putting all those like code stuff together and like making it better, like, and for like would be like improving my work and like developing it further and making it better.
Great, thank you. Yeah, improving it, making it better. That's great with all the coding that you're learning. Vanessa, what about you? What's been challenging?
I would say the most challenging thing for me would be having to fix, like, for example, we have to fix a code that's already pre-made, and we don't know what which code is incorrect, and we have to figure out which one is incorrect, and that's most challenging for me because we have to go each line by code to figure out which one is incorrect so we can fix that code.
Great. Boy, I can see that you're really invested in this, and that's great. And what do you think the kids have? Let's see, 1 second here. Do you feel kids are more confident in other aspects of their learning because of this? And we'll have Mr. Neville and Ms. Anderson answer that. Are they more confident in other aspects of learning as a result of what they're learning in Computer Academy?
I personally think they are. Certainly in the 4 years that I've actually been teaching computer science in the classroom, I have seen the students, grow from, by taking the skills they've learned, that lack of fear, that self-confidence that they suddenly get, that when that code works, they know they can do it. And it's kind of almost the swagger they have as they kind of leave my classroom and walk into another content area teacher's classroom. And that's going to continue because you see them as they walk back out of that classroom and they'll tell me that they're getting more confident. And I think it's just a general thing about self-confidence that it helps them with.
That's great. Thank you, Mr. Neville. Mrs. Anderson, what have you seen?
Well, I definitely agree with Mr. Neville. It does boost their confidence when they are successful with the coding. But I also see that when you can make connections between the content, when you're able to use computer science with ELA or with math, they're able to understand those concepts better because they have the double whammy there. They're getting it both. And they can see how it works in computer science and in, say, ELA. And that will boost their confidence as well.
Okay, we have another question, and then Bernadette, I know you wanted to say something, so I'll let you do that. But for our students, when you study this, what does this make you want to be when you grow up? Do you ever think about what you'd like to do with this when you're grown-ups? Andrew, what about you? And then Leona.
A firefighter.
A firefighter. Okay, well, we sure need firefighters. That's great. All right, Leona, what about you? Do you think you'll use these computer skills later in your life? We need you to unmute so we can hear you. There we go.
Did you send me?
It's a little hard to hear Leona. Did anyone, Mrs. Anderson, did you hear her? No, okay. And what about our 8th graders? Oh, sorry.
Did she say she wanted to be a teacher? Ooh. Did you say you wanted to be a teacher, Leona?
I'm gonna be something where I can work on a computer for like when I'm like a computer job.
Okay, that's fabulous.
I want to be a veterinarian because he is computers. I don't want a job where I can use computers and vets do that.
That's great. Oh, Leona, that's terrific. You'll be able to use your computers for that. Bernadette, I know you had a question, and then we'll move on. So
okay, yeah, just hearing that this is an opportunity that, as a parent and a professional, just hearing that this is an opportunity available to all students. My daughter goes to Garden Lakes, and so I'm wondering if this is something that she can access because she loves computers and it really helps her. She's on the spectrum, and being on the spectrum, she really engages her mind in computers. She's been doing computers since she was 2 years old. We were traveling at one point and she was bored. She's an only child, and she's been doing computers since a very young age. So, going back to also, I forget who shared, but iCoding is very expensive. We had considered that for her just recently because she needs more activity and she loves the computer, and it was very expensive. So I love that you're providing this program. I think it's very, very important because computers are never going to go away. And it's something that our children will always have the opportunity to do should they choose. So back to my question is for Garden Lakes, and different schools in the district, how can that be available to them, or how can we take advantage of this opportunity?
Yeah, so we're very excited that we're going to be expanding our STEAM Academy opportunities across the system. So you'll see a number of new opportunities where we're really close to being able to make a really significant announcement about some really interesting, fun, and rigorous STEAM opportunities that are going to be happening at all 12 schools. So we're really excited about that. So stay tuned is what I would say. We're super excited about the opportunities we're going to bring to every student. They're going to look a little bit different. Our principals are partnering with the community to make sure that we're providing opportunities that the community wants to support, but we're super excited about the future. So that was a great question. I'm really glad you asked about that.
Is there going to be a timeline for that as it comes available, maybe posted to the Pendergast district website by chance?
Yeah, we will absolutely keep you posted. We're just waiting for a few other things need to happen with our different processes that we have to follow, and then we'll let folks know. And your school principal will also be keeping you updated.
Okay, wonderful. We are so grateful. You want to know more? Follow Via de Paz on social media and Pendergast District on social media. We appreciate how much you've engaged with us today. It was a fabulous program. A big shout out to Via de Paz for all the great things that they're doing. Our students are amazing, and they've really helped us to understand computer science a lot more than when we started. Our registration is open for the 2021-2022 school year. When you go to our website, you're going to see our fabulous campaign, Be Ready, Be Loved, for Pendergast Kindergarten. We have yard signs going up all over. We've got parent booklets. We've got drive-throughs. It's going to be absolutely wonderful. We hope you'll join us. If you know anyone that has a future kindergartner, have them come check us out, because we are the place to be. And all right. Don't forget, with your taxes due in April, think about that tax credit. It doesn't cost you because it's a one-for-one credit. All funds go directly to benefit students in program. And when you go to our website at pesd92.org, the information's right there, as well as a great video. We'd love to have your tax credit money. It goes to benefit our students. So thank you so much for that. You've used the networking opportunities beautifully. We wish we could be in person, but you've been absolutely fabulous to be with today. We hope that you've enjoyed everything, and we want to tell you when our next opportunity is to be with us. Our next Lunch and Learn is March 30th, and you're going to hear from the Superintendent's 8th Grade Academy, Superintendent's 8th Grade Council, doing some wonderful things, talking about what they've learned, and it will be great to have you back. Spread the word. We appreciate everybody who's been with us today. Dr. DeBlue, do you want to bring it on home and thank everybody and say some parting words?
Yes, thank you, Netta. First of all, I have to say the students that are with us, you were amazing. And no, I am not smarter than a first grader. I can't even spell code. So I'm going to have to register in Mr. Neville's class, Miss Anderson's, et cetera. But you did a great job. You know, this was a dream that started 7 years ago to have these academies in the schools. And I just can't tell you how proud I am of the work that these administrators and teachers and counselors and leadership have done. They've just taken this to the new level. And like Dr. Cruz said, wait for the new opportunities that are coming. You're going to be thrilled. So thank you for choosing Pendergast. Don't forget to bring all your friends to register over here, because you know we are the best district with the best staff and the best students. So I'm so proud of all of you. This was one of the best presentations, and they're all good, but every time we say, oh my God, how can we top this? So VDP, I'm really, really proud of you. You're amazing. Thank you all. Please join us for the next Lunch and Learn, and have a beautiful, beautiful day. Stay safe.
Thank you, everyone. We really appreciate you being here. We love learning with you. Please spread the word. We are Pendergast, and we are the district that believes in you. Remember, we've recorded this, so you can share that. We'll be putting it on social media, so please follow us. And that way you can let everybody know how much you love the district and how much the district means to you. So thank you, everyone. Take good care, and we'll see you in March.